to eliminate everything else. Is there any kind of a safeguard that kind of stops that?
That's gonna be up to your IT person or whoever is running the system. There are a few things that we can do in the system to make sure that somebody always has access to the building. Because this thing, we can put this thing in what they call lockdown mode. So God forbid there's a shooter at the school next door and you guys are open for business. We can go to the lock, we can put a code in, or we can go to the program and hit emergency lockdown, and the lock is gonna lock. And only those people that we assign the proper credentials to or the proper PIN code to can still access the building while you're in lockdown mode. So we could give somebody a credential that will always get in no matter what's going on.
So if we could arrange to have like two or three people have that, so that in the event something
God forbid.
happens
Yep.
and all of a sudden, 13 of the 14 people wind up getting locked out, that there are people that
That can still get in. Yep. And then the other nice thing about the lock, which the company has thought about, if the batteries die, there's a key override. So there's always a way in the building. A physical key, like a house key or whatever. It's a special keyway, but yeah, we can still get you in the building.
Okay.
You guys want to pass these around? This is what the credentials could look like. If you want, one's cheaper than the other, one's more, more for your pocket than the other one.
I work at the college.
Okay.
I'm a custodian. I have
Yeah.
a fob that I use that.
This is my house
I've been
key.
carrying one for 5
There
years.
you go.
That's
my
a
house
Comes
key.
out of the wall.
Really?
I'm
Okay.
sorry that that's your house.
So I'm gonna call the meeting to order.
Actually, I just contacted. I mean, I would call the leasing office at my apartment.
Yeah, they'll get you.
Okay, so meeting's called to order, but we're gonna jump to, this is Adam from Softbox. Thank you for joining us tonight. So he gave us a quote going away, so I'm just gonna let you talk about it.
Okay, well, are there any questions before I begin? Because I know you tell the quote. I know the price kind of shocks people.
Is
But
that the name of your company? Shops?
shook safe. No, that's okay.
Remember,
You
you're
guys
doing your
probably
daggers.
know Dwayne Haverlock.
Dwayne
He's
is.
the previous owner. I married into the family and I bought the business 2 years ago. So and Dwayne still works with us when he's around. He's vacationing at the moment, so which I can't blame him for. Okay, so the lock is a grade 1 lock, the one that we put on your door. Marries up with the hardware you have, so the panic bar you have, we're just going to modify the outside of the door a little bit. Fit. It'll hold up to and plus 2,000 users. So we can do either PIN codes or we can do the key fobs, whatever the finances dictate or whatever. We can run the system if you guys want us to, or we can put the software on one of your computers and you guys can run the system. I actually brought my computer along from work with the little device plugged into it. Actually talks to the wall. So I can sit here and I can turn this lock red with my name on it. And then I go here and I click start and I'm talking to the lock. And now that little fob that passed around, the little guy, as soon as it's done talking to the lock, it won't work anymore. Because right now, it's a little lock. It's usually a little quicker, but since it's running off my battery, I actually left my computer at Fort Bears Casino with them because they were having troubles with their computer system at the time, so that they could program the system that we put on for them. They had my computer for about 3 weeks. So that tells me that the card's not working. The little red light beeped and everything. So I can program the card in, but I don't have to give anybody access. So God forbid you lose something, we go in, we turn the door red for the person that lost the fob, and they're locked. And then it'll, if you guys are having troubles with somebody, it'll tell you who's been trying to access the building. You can pull up the logs of who tried to access the door and all that kind of stuff too.
So there's a record of who comes in
Mm-hmm.
and locks.
And what time they come through the door. So if God forbid something goes missing, you can find it.
Yeah, 2 questions.
Yes, ma'am.
See, it's got a keypad.
Yep.
When you use either the fob or the card, do you also have to punch in a code?
So you can set it up both ways. You can set it up card only, or code only, or card and code. So you can do it, you can have it
So if somebody
redundant.
were to steal one of our cards or something, if we could arrange it so that you had to have the card and a code.
Yes, you could.
Okay.
Or you can just disable the card.
Or you could just disable the card.
Right, but that's by the time somebody knows that the card is missing.
Right.
Other question, you've seen our front door.
Mhm.
Our center pole
Mhm.
comes out so
Yep.
that we can get large stuff in and out.
Yep.
Is that going to be any kind of a
Nope.
problem?
Not at all. The only thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take your door handle off the one side, where your key works right now, and I will mount something that looks similar to this. It's a little different because it's for a panic device, but I'm only modifying the door. The panic bar will stay so that you can always get out with one motion.
And we will continue to be able to have the door open
Yep,
when we have our events going on.
yes, ma'am. So, and that's a simple thing we can either,
Just ask and I'll get them.
No,
Crash bar is gonna stay.
these are good questions. Yes, the crash bar will stay. So you can do crazy things with this lock. Like, so we can just click on the lock and we can manually put the lock into what they call passage mode. As long as it talks. And your guys' system will be hardwired a little bit to a computer, so you won't have a slow communication process like I'm having. But what passage mode is, all it does is turn the lock so that it lets people through the door without worrying about a card or a code or anything like that. Or we can set schedules. If you have set schedules of when your shows are, we can set up a schedule so that it automatically unlocks so nobody has to even go to the computer. And then say at 11 o'clock at night, it relocks. So you don't have to worry about it.
He also said that if we had, somebody that needed to come in, our heater guy or something,
Yep.
you could set up a code for an hour.
For an hour or 2 hours, a one-time access type thing, so that nobody has to be here for them if something goes awry. So, oh, it's still talking. No, it's in passage mode right now, so the computer talked to the lock successfully, so I can come in and out all day long.
And we would have that kind of a handle on the door?
Yes.
So our
There would be-
patrons would wind up having to open and close the door
For
as
the-
for the handle?
For the handicap rules and everything like that, yeah, everything comes as a handle now for this type of stuff. And then to put it
That'd
back.
be a shock for most of them.
But there'll be a pole on the other side.
I know, it's just the,
Yeah, he said this would only be on one side, right?
Yep.
That's what it- So
Yeah.
one
So
side's
during
still
the show,
gonna
we
be
could
the pole
unlock the
open.
crash
Yeah, I
bar
just-
on both sides.
Just like you do.
I can
Yep.
see people not paying attention to me, just trying to pull it open.
But we still can use the Allen wrench. and leave it
Yes,
open.
yes, ma'am.
How long is the craftsmanship on the handle warranty for?
Well, I've had them on the Calyx building since 1998, and I have yet to replace one of the locks. I have upgraded the software for them just recently. They had the beta version back from 1998, and we're in 2020, and we had to bring them up to date. It took me all afternoon, but the software was free. And then they have 300 schedules in there for all the holidays and the different people that come in and out and everything. I was able to bring all that information over to the new software without losing any of it.
And the device itself is battery operated. Is that like 4 AA's or?
4C batteries, and I've had good luck with them. I've gone about 5 years without changing them. So, and they're easy to change. Calyx does their own maintenance on them, so it's not a difficult thing to do.
Is there a warning?
The computer, you can look every so often at this screen right here, and it'll tell you if the battery life is good or bad.
Where would, when you talk about a computer, where would a computer be?
Probably in the
Yeah,
office.
he said if
Yeah.
we would set something up in the office or be on one of our office computers.
Does it work on a Wi-Fi? How does it?
I haven't done it with the Wi-Fi yet.
Okay.
I'm pretty fond of the hardwire system because it's been very reliable for me. They have come out with a Wi-Fi gateway, something similar to this, that would mount and talk Wi-Fi via the building. it's still the same price as the kicker. Because that's their new tech. So with this company that builds this lock, there are 4 engineers. There are 4 engineers that develop the software. The same 4 engineers develop the lock. That's how they keep the software from 1998 and the locks from 1998 talking today's software. They do everything in-house. And when I call for tech support, I'm talking to one of those 4 engineers that built this lock and built the software. So if I ever need help, I know exactly who to go to. And the best part is the software is free. So all the upgrades, every time a new upgrade comes through, it's all free. We just go to their website, we download it, and it automatically updates it from there.
So is there a way for somebody to get in who does not have a code but steals a code, gets somebody else's code?
So if they get a code, they have access to the lock until that person's code is turned off. So
There is
if,
still, you could pass the
So
code
if
on
you-
to Susie.
yep, so if you pass the codes from person to person, you're gonna wreck your integrity. It's just like going to a hardware store and making a key.
Because if you're using a card or a key fob, there's not a code that you have to.
You don't have to use a code if
You
you
don't
don't
have to
want to.
know the code.
Right.
Just the
So
card
like-
is sufficient.
Right now, I just let myself in the door
Security system
with a
too,
code.
you know.
Or
Right, but,
I mean, which they could, but.
well, you're gonna give one, you
Under
might as well give the other.
Susie,
in this one, I
maybe,
have
you know,
programmed in the lock, and you
Susie
see
came
it'll turn
in,
red,
right,
and then it'll go red.
Yeah, I'm thinking about.
The card's
you know,
loaded in the lock, but I
just to
haven't given the
be-
card permission to open the lock.
A director and needing access, if he doesn't have a. Okay, here's the hypothetical. We will sometimes have directors that are not board members.
Okay,
Board members will have perhaps the fob or the card.
okay.
But we have a person who we want to be able to come in, but won't have a card or a fob. Is there a way that we can give them the access to get in?
We can give them a PIN code. We can set them
And
up.
that would be the,
That would be the
You could set it for 2
keypad.
months too, like
We-
after
yep.
the show day,
Or we
that
could give them a
Monday.
card.
we would have to call you folks, or
I
can
will
we set
train
that up?
whoever you want me to train on the system. It's a very user-friendly system. It's very easy to do.
Is there a procedure manual?
Yes.
Okay.
There's always instructions, but I'm the hands-on kind of person.
Right, but sometimes you're sick or in the hospital or somebody else isn't available. and-
So I actually, there's 2 of us at the store right now that pretty much specialize in this lock. And between the 2 of us, we have yet to come across a problem we haven't been able to figure out. And I am always available. My wife hates that, just so you know. But I mean, 10:30 on election night last year, the tribe called me because they have this system on their building. They had a gentleman getting voted out. And he was in stealing files because he knew he was getting kicked out of office. And they called me up and I walked him through 3 easy steps to lock him out of the building, and they escorted him out, shut the door behind him, and his key fob no longer worked. He couldn't get in. And they were ecstatic. They told me at 10:30 at night to put it on all of their buildings. And I said, you guys better slow down because it's expensive.
Okay. Got a couple of questions. Is there a cell phone app to be able to?
There is a Bluetooth, there's not an app for it yet, but there is access via Bluetooth. There's a way to do it. I have yet to have to set that up for somebody.
Okay.
I can work through it and get you there,
Mhm.
but there is a way in the program to do that on my computer.
Does that cost extra?
No, it's already built into the program.
that right?
Like, for instance, we have the SRT alarm system.
And it's all
I can
Bluetooth.
arm and disarm it from my cell phone, so,
Sure.
there's not a way yet to disable a key or enable a key from the cell phone.
So we can get access through a Bluetooth credential right here.
With no E.
I'd have to sit and actually figure it out, but there's a way to do it. So we could get access to a director or somebody via their phone if they wanted it.
Nielsen.
This is very new to the program. This is the most updated version of the program, and I just updated it today.
Right.
And I saw that, and I'm like, I learned about that in class a year ago, and it's here finally, so now I gotta figure out how to do it.
Okay, I got a really offbeat one for you. Okay, I work at IRET.
Yep.
And we have they've had a security system, I don't know,
Forever.
no idea what it is. But it has a neat feature when you successfully enter through the lock with your card, it disables the alarm system.
No, this is not hooked to the alarm system.
I gotta do that.
Nope, won't do it.
How long does it take to do the installation?
Usually takes us about an hour, hour and a half to install it on the door. And then training, I think I quoted you about 3 hours for labor and training.
Okay.
As long as someone that is good with a computer is gonna run the program, it's gonna take me about an hour to train them how to do this.
And how long will it take? And that's not good.
It'll probably take us 3 hours,
Okay.
because I'm that same person. I am probably the most computer illiterate person in the room.
I'd give you a liar, I can tell you that.
So,
I've done similar systems before,
sure.
not this one, obviously.
I've really enjoyed doing this system because it is so user friendly. And if you do have a question, I'm available, which is really nice. And I know a lot of big companies aren't that way.
So you can put schedules on here.
Mm-hmm.
So say we have a director, an outside director who's gonna do a show. So we can say, okay, from 6 o'clock or whatever time in the evening until they're done, it's good until the show's over. Show's over, it disappears automatically.
You may not want it to disappear off. You're gonna want to turn the director's key fob off, which is not a problem.
Right.
But you're not gonna want it to disappear automatically because they could turn that key fob in so you guys can issue it to someone.
Right, the key, if we use a
That's
key
the
fob.
idea. If you use
The
a,
cards are a lot cheaper than the key fob.
yeah, but the same theory.
You still want them back.
Yep, same theory exists. You know, cards are like $5 or $6, and key fobs are, I think, 11 or 12.
Okay.
Just shooting off the top of my head.
So you don't want
The director.
You don't want them to just
Disappear.
walk away with it.
Yep.
Right.
Maybe
Not the end of the world if they do, but it's,
It does cost a little money to get them out. But that's something too that we keep on hand. We keep I had to keep the key fobs on
I think
hand.
the idea of
They go
scheduling.
through a lot.
So it'll be on.
a lot of people.
They do, they have a lot of people, and they have a lot of turnover, and a lot of people get mad and don't turn stuff in.
So what is it, how do you program a card?
So,
Is this something
Do
we
we
need to
know
discuss
that?
right now?
I mean, is it,
it's a 4-step process. You click here, you put the person's name in, and we go down here, we put the card ID in, we add the card, and then we put the facility code in, we hit OK, and we're done.
that's it?
Is that something where like the code is just printed on the card there? I guess I didn't look real close at the cards.
No,
And where do we get the cards from if we need new ones?
I have them.
He
Should we
already
just
said
go over
that he has.
to,
Yeah.
And then
You
right on
just
the
know
back.
where to call.
All right. Is there any more questions for Adam? We don't want to.
Fire away.
Stay here.
Oh, come on.
You want to sit though, feel free.
Oh, no, I'm okay. I've been standing all day. It's good for me. But the system is super user friendly. We can set schedules. We can.
I did have a question again. We set this up, we pay you.
Mhm.
Is there a monthly charge?
No. And just like upgrading the software, it's free. You know, if I have to come down and do something, there's a little bit, but
Yeah, well, that's calling on the maintenance.
so. And you can have a lot of people in this thing, which is really nice. I know the tribe's got 2,500 people in their system. So, yeah.
And you can try, and there's records on every,
Yep, so I can sit here, I can tell the lock to send me the logs, and it'll bring up as many logs as you want it to. It'll tell you which card number or who it's trying to enter the building at this time. Successful or unsuccessful.
Oh, what happens if for some reason a valid card carrier, for some reason can't get in?
So that's happened. 9 times out of 10, the card has gone through the wash. And then it wrecks the computer chip inside the card. And the cards don't have batteries or anything crazy like that, so there's no worries about that stuff. But the cards are pretty durable. I've seen a couple go through the washer 2 or 3 times. Yeah, the numbers rub off the back, but if you look at his card, it's been well
It's
used.
not all
Yeah,
different, all that
12
much
years at
different.
Cognizant, I know what they look like.
I've had that
Yeah.
for 5 years.
No,
It's a
I was
little
just wondering,
bent,
if,
it's a little
say,
chipped.
something occurs and I go to the door and I go,
And then as
what
long
the
as,
hell?
as long as the lock beeps, something probably happened to your card, or somebody was in the system and changed something in the system.
And then who would we then alert?
Ken.
One of you guys.
Whoever is in
Probably,
charge.
probably be someone on the executive board.
Or to be just.
Yeah, someone who's
you
got
do with it,
access
like
to
a
the
board member
programming.
Doesn't have their key and needs to get in, you contact another board member.
No.
Yeah, and you could
Okay.
have a PIN number too, so.
I was just
whatever
wondering
you-
who would be the next step.
Because we could set it up so that you have a card access and a PIN access. You don't have to use both at the same time. So if you do forget your card, you can still get in the building. Because Lord knows when it's 20 below outside, you don't want to be standing.
More likely to forget a PIN number.
Well, you got a debit card. I'm sure the same PIN would probably work. And the nice thing is the PINs can be 4 digits, they could be 8 digits, whatever you set. So it's a very simple system to use that way.
Any other questions?
I'm good.
The same PIN number for each person. If you chose a PIN, it's a different PIN.
Yep, certainly. Just like the cards would be different for each person.
Yeah.
And then you can even leave a key fob on the wall for the fire department if they need to get in, or the police department, you know, those knock boxes they have on businesses. You can do that stuff too. We have a couple in Newtown with those on the wall so that the fire department doesn't kick the door down to break it. So, because doors are expensive.
Yeah, when our alarm goes off, the police come.
Yeah. Wouldn't be a bad thing.
Just another thing to think about.
We have had that happen. The alarm goes off inside. And here comes the police.
Yes, that's right.
So,
Well, thank you.
oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. And I'll get out of here.
No problem. Okay, so moving along. Any guests besides proxy votes? Anybody have a proxy? Minutes from last meeting, did everybody look at those? Motion of acceptance,
I second.
questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? All right. Treasurer report, Ken?
Is that the one you sent?
That's the one I sent out, and I did not make a copy of it.
When did you send it?
I sent it,
Right before the other one.
Let me see if I have
Today?
a copy.
No.
I don't know if I got it.
It actually came from Heather.
No.
I think so. Because he must have sent it to you and you sent it out.
all
Well, it
the,
looked like the treasurer's wrote, it had a bunch of numbers.
It's those reconciliations.
yeah, they were all out there. So.
So we don't have.
We don't have them. Okay, so Grant, Kathy's not here. She's sending update or?
Only that there we go. The rendering grant is only usable for brick and mortar type things.
Which we have lots of those
We
types
can-
of
we
things,
can-
that would be
We
great.
can find those, so.
What
We
grant
apply
was
with
Toilet,
that.
toilet next door.
What was the name of the grant again?
So the rendering is part of the operation.
It is good for brick and mortar.
Yeah.
The Verender one
All
is,
the
yes.
good
The render one is,
If anybody wants to see them, I do have my copies. And I did send Chris, I sent you my copies, so they are on file with Chris.
And I did copy everybody.
the one addition I have is the lighting equipment. Almost everything is accounted for. There's some little things that are left. As of now, we have spent just under $13,800 and some odd dollars.
Only
We
because
have
you
allotted
persisted taking up this ridiculous attitude.
15.4, yeah. On the December
I
meeting.
was not drunk.
So we're well under that. So far, we're in good shape. The only other thing we need, there's a couple of other items. I gotta get the software, which is $100. And,
They shout, and then I don't care that they can hear me in full, so.
I think that's it. And then
And
there's-
the electrician.
And then we have an electrician. And we'll get to that later.
Social media.
Brittany, are you available?
No.
She was sitting there, she's not there now.
Finance and
Finance meeting met last Monday on February 3rd. We reviewed the financial statements that Kenneth supplied. I believe it was the Bremer financial statement we didn't have available yet.
Yeah, that statement just came in.
Okay. But the ones that we were able to review, we looked over, discussed
I
any
was not drunk.
spaces that need more definition and approved those. We also discussed two options to proceed with the credit card. Unfortunately, the credit card that I had left on board was unavailable for us because it is it's a consumer, like a private credit card, not one for business. They do not have a business option. So we discussed two options, either going through the First Western Bank and Trust with their credit card or going through and signing up with a Chase Business Cash card. So I want to look into more into the First Western Bank Trust card on what their rates are, and we'll get back to you with that. We also reviewed the goals for the committee this year. I know Nancy was inquiring, and what we came up with was a comprehensive tracking of expenses and incomes and offering an advisory position for financial policy and procedure, organizational budgets, and grant support. And Kathy agreed to be the secretary of the committee because I am terrible at note-taking.
all right, thank you. Box office, Ken.
Things are really slow right now. There hasn't been a lot of public. I think we sold 4 tickets in the last 2 weeks.
Well, yeah.
So that will change. Everything's set up, everything's ready. It's been going real smooth.
I know that there was a problem with the children's show link. The lady that wanted to, she's like, oh, I went to pay for it online and it sends me to a blank URL. Like she clicked on.
Really?
Try, yeah. So I don't know. I didn't try it, but past shows, upcoming shows, Lynn.
Thank you, everyone who participated and helped out with in-laws. It was magnificent and it was wonderful and it was so very rewarding. I think we were in the center of a perfect storm as far as good weather and all kinds of things that made it an attractive thing for people to come see. And so we had excellent audiences every night. We've been racking our brains trying to think of what we did right this time.
I want to say it was the casting was just perfection for that show.
Right.
Yeah,
Let's not go
I
there.
think Ed would agree with me on that.
Beyond that, obviously, I think weather had a major part about it. The possibility, I think the probability that we moved the date 1 week further into January may have helped because people were not quite reeling from Christmas at that point. And it struck me the other day, there was one thing that we did differently that we have not done with any other January show. My poster was ready and was posted inside during Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. Now, we have had small things like Nancy put up for Blythe Spirit, where it's just words. But I think the fact that we actually had a full poster may have been a key factor. And so for the future, maybe not for Blythe Spirit, but certainly for Clue, we might want to consider developing a poster that does not require photographs of cast members that can be done in advance of the show, so we can post it during the previous show to it. And so it looks like a full and official poster. May not be the final one, but something so that people coming to the show will see the next poster. And maybe that was the key. I don't know, but that is really the only thing that we did different, was that.
Another thing I want to throw in is our mailing list, our email list has grown to over 1,300 people. I opened the report one day during the run of in-laws, and we had like 35 new people had signed up for the email. The first batch of emails, I sent out 2 batches of emails. First one I sent out, within 24 hours of sending it, I'd sold 51 tickets. And we did just about as well as second. Maybe even a little better the second.
So the
It
email
does
certainly
work.
helps too.
Email
I think
works.
we've done email before and we haven't really gotten that kind of a response, but
We're running those newsletters
but
now. They're starting to look
anything
for it.
like that certainly helps. But yeah,
Keep it all going.
thank you to everybody that participated and helped, because, oh my gosh, it was a very rewarding experience.
And I heard a lot of good comments.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
If you
said
had
things they never saw.
A little
Really.
finale blurb for the newsletter, or a picture with
I will see what I can do.
I have Chris's, you got that, right?
Yeah, I need to pull it off.
Well, wait till she gets hers sent to you, and then you can run it together.
All right, so the next show is Boy Spirit. Here it's underway. Do either of you have any updates from Tim by chance? If he needs anything or how things are going?
We are having problems finding a couple of smaller round tables or smaller tables. One that's used for the seance that might wind up taking a battering, and one that's used as a breakfast table.
Both round.
Well, round would be preferable because you've got so many people to go around it, but square would probably work too. But we are having some problems locating that. In the event that we have to purchase, can Tim have an okay and what a limit would be to purchase the tables that are needed?
Any idea?
We haven't really investigated it. We're still trying to find something through the restores and loan and things like that, so.
You should put it out on email, to see if there's anybody who has one.
Well, it's kind of hard to describe what's needed, I mean, I wouldn't want 20 people showing up with patio tables,
Well,
or something that's, 4 foot.
If we can get a rough dimension of what he needs, like anywhere between this size and this size,
wouldn't hurt
And
anyway.
we can give that a try, but that's the only heads up that I know of that is a problem right now.
You said the small one is gonna be beat up.
Possibly, because it's the seance table, it has to bump, it has to move, it might have to fall over, that kind of thing, so it would have to be pretty solid.
You've got to help me.
So we'll figure out a way to get that out, or, is there an amount, Tim?
Obviously, we're gonna take whatever cost as low as we can keep it, but in the event we find something fast, we might not be able to get to a computer and send out an email request. So keep it
What's a reasonable range? 50?
per table or for both?
Oh, no, her, please.
Okay, we will do our best to do that. I don't think we are likely to get beyond
no.
50 per table, because if it comes to that, we'll make it.
I would very much appreciate if you do use a credit card or the debit card, please.
We'll do the best we can. It's basically, if we happen to be someplace and it's there.
Well, there's 2 cards in there, so go ahead and take one while we're working on this. Just
Well,
use it.
Okay,
I would propose that if a table is needed,
that we, give Tim minimally $100.
Well, we have our policy of if we go over
We
100
do, we-
requests,
yeah.
so I'd say,
So, I mean, I would say that, he should be free.
Yeah, it's in the
Do that.
bylaws that he can have at least 100, so.
Right, and it wasn't a matter of,
Question.
we would be buying something that's costing a lot. I just wanted to make sure that you had a heads up that
yeah.
this is something that we may have to do.
I don't know. It's in the bylaws.
I did just would request that maybe just Tim keep all the cards. That's
We
why
can
I
do
got
that.
two,
We
just
can
hang
do
on
that.
to it, check it out, and hang on to it until such time as we're done with the set. It just saves a lot of headaches if we do it that way as
Okay.
opposed to doing reimbursements.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. There's nothing else. House.
Yeah, I just have a couple of things. Lynn is continuing to purge in the costume shop, which is always a good thing. I'm questioning, are we going to continue recycling the cans? What is your
The
wish?
cans are valuable, the aluminum cans are valuable, if we can accumulate 100 pounds. And maybe the thing to do is to put them over in the apartment building until we get throughout a season, because you get a premium over 100 pounds.
Okay, so we can continue with that. I don't mind continuing. We do have a pile up in the entryway, so Ken will take care of that.
The bottles, they're gone, they're no value anymore.
Okay, so, but will you take care of what's in the entry? Either put it in the garbage or take it? Okay, thank you, Ken. Library work is in progress. I'd like to designate a board reference section just because I've seen a need for that. I need furniture moved so there's access to the books. If anybody has time to do that. Heather, I think, will update us on the heating system visit. I will say that coming into the building and having it warm is nice.
Yeah. So right after the last show, or actually I think it was in between, maybe, we had a problem with the heater not heating up. And so we thought, well, is it broken? Is it what? So we had somebody come out, the heater guy. He stayed for a while and did a bunch of things, but he said overall, the heating is fine. It's not broken or anything. He said we just have a very bad design of heating. He said, yes, he could come in and do duct work and for a bunch of money and fix it. He said, the big thing is our thermostat that's right over here by the men's bathroom. Let's set it on a temperature. What did we say? 66, 67, something like that. And don't touch it, don't drop it below that. He said every time we set it at 64 and try to pump it up to 70 in no time, we're just burning our heater out. He goes, it's such an old system, we can't do that anymore. He said just leave it at a certain temperature, and then if we need to bump it up a couple, that's not bad. He changed the directions of the fan, so I don't know if you noticed at the last show, but if you stood under him, you just had heat blaring on you or whatever. It did move the heat around, so that was good, I guess. The electrical heaters that are in the hallway, the office, and et cetera, he said we can leave those on. He said they are set up to a breaker that if something is about to happen or whatever, it'll throw the breaker and shut them off. He goes, leave them on medium low. He had a whole explanation of, the cold air coming in and et cetera. And he did his temperature reading and it was like 40 degrees out in the hallway. He goes, that's crazy. He goes, you guys need to, he goes, I actually turned it on for you before I left the building. He goes, it's not gonna start a fire. It's not. Randy tied back. There was some cords there. So as long as we keep things clear of it, I think we're fine to leave it on, medium, low, whatever, just so it's not always freezing everywhere.
For sure.
He did write a long explanation on the bill that came.
Oh,
It's
he
2
did.
pages
Oh, okay.
because it's
Oh,
all
we talked for like
comments.
a half an hour to me. I'm like, fun,
Okay, dumb people leave the dang
Right.
heat
Yeah.
on. It's
Right.
not,
Burn
It makes a difference though coming
It
in.
does, yeah.
it does.
I'm tossing it out to you.
Okay,
And I think Ken has already updated us on the lights, so that's all I have.
Okay, concessions. I'll skip that for now. We'll talk about it at the next board meeting about stocking it. I think it's fairly stocked right now, but we might need to buy some more before the show.
I tried to work out what I thought was kind of an average that we should pick up for each show. I'm not sure on the cookies. That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But the sodas, roughly 3 12-packs of each thing, plus a 4th on Coke and Diet Coke.
Yeah.
Seems to be a good quantity, and then 5 24-packs of water.
Yeah.
And please, people, if you're buying the water, don't go to Marketplace and buy the water at full price. Watch for the sale at Menards,
Yes.
Yeah.
because
we do
they
a
have
Menards.
some 2 or 3 times a month, $1.95 for a 24-pack. So when that happens, I grab 6, I put 2 in the back, 2 at home, 2 here, you know.
One day last summer at the commissary, they had like huge, like 30 packs. They were $1.89. It was buy one get one free. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, things
Yeah.
happen. So if you see them, you know, and let us know.
One other comment, if there's any marketplace tokens, or the recycling tokens,
Oh, yeah,
March 31st,
they're
they're
stopping
only
those.
close to
Yeah.
0, so if you have any,
Really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
What is it?
The recycling
from the
So
recycling.
Caleb's Recycling, you used to be able to get tokens. I've got like about $70 worth that I've got to get rid of.
And that-
So you better go buy
We've got a
stuff.
bunch too, so.
No, that's not.
All right, kids program.
Okay, well, we've done 3 sessions of our own Minnie Mouser, sessions. Not very well attended, but the last one was better. Ashley Brittany did the last session with the acting workshop. The kids had fun. We're off this week, and then we have 2 more. So we'll see how it goes. It's hard to know when we have kids that are so busy. But anyway, so we have that. And then our Missoula children's thing is coming in on the 15th of
June. We
June.
just paid the deposit for that this week.
Did you say Frog Prince?
Yep.
So as soon as we'll have to start to advertise that during the clue probably. We'll have to get a poster now because we've got a sponsor. So,
And I got an email today, I'm assuming Brittany, maybe?
The
Olson?
dentist,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh,
I
good.
sent it to
Oh,
you.
okay.
Good.
A logo thing, what they want on it and
Oh,
stuff,
very
so.
good. Okay, because when I said thank you note, the last thing I said, and we will need a logo.
She said,
I mean, it
very
wouldn't hurt
nice,
to
thank
start
you.
the advertising during last period either. for
Yeah,
that
we
matter.
could, yeah,
Well, obviously, if we have the information, it'll go in the program.
we could do that, that'd be great. Perfect.
Well, anyway, so then that takes care of, that's kind of just the sum total on those. Can you think of anything
Nope,
else?
I don't think so.
It's going all right. It would be nice if we had a few more kids, but.
Holly, regarding Missoula, that's a big chunk of money to bring Missoula in.
Yeah.
Are we going to try to charge enough to make it offset some of the costs as
Well,
compared to
what did we
last time?
charge last time?
Last year we did 20, it's in my notes, but 25.
I thought it
Yeah.
was
And they got-
25.
They got a discount if they had more than one kid.
Right, they went down to
Yeah.
like 15, I think.
Well, then possibly we could raise it to, I don't want to make it out of line so that some kids can't come.
I'm hoping to, last year was our first year, so this year I'm hoping to advertise more,
And get
sooner.
more kids
and
involved,
try to get
more
more
kids
And
would
then,
help
and then
with
what
it.
we might want to do for future, and this is obviously another year away from
Right.
there, is look to whether or not we have anybody in-house that could pull off the same type of thing.
Yeah.
Well, right.
And it would be considerably less cost.
Yeah.
Right, and I know Brittany would. I mean, she's been
It's just a
trained.
matter of setting the.
Well, right, and she's got a few other items of business this summer.
Just a few.
Yeah, there's a couple small things.
Yeah, just a couple.
Nothing major though, right?
No.
So anyway, well, she's gonna get married and then she's gonna,
And I think Kathy is gonna be looking into a grant, but that's not until August or something like
Right.
that for kids. it's for specifically a kid, has to be a kid's thing, so.
Yeah.
We might have the money, free and clear next year.
So, anyway, so that's kind of where we're at, but,
Newsletter.
well, we're getting organized.
We're getting that put together, it'll send out by email.
Sounds good.
1,317 people on the list.
Yeah, well, I'll wait for Lynn's
I will.
little, summary or update or however,
I'll try to get that out within the next 24 hours.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
I'll
was
get the
that
newsletter
picture, did I send you more than one picture? Do you remember?
I gotta go back and find them.
Well, I can send them to you
Billy.
again.
Okay.
Yeah, so that'd be fine, but as long as you have the article, then we're okay.
Are the people who are still listed here, Holly, Brittany, Ashley, and Penny, are they still part of the newsletter? Or is there anybody who no longer wants to be part of the newsletter?
I'll do it, but nobody's ever contacted me. I haven't gotten nothing from you guys.
Don't you get the newsletter?
Yeah, but that's it. I don't get nothing
And
else. I've never.
I think, and Brittany, I don't think
most-
even gets the newsletter.
I don't even get the newsletter.
Uh,
And it goes to my junk mail. I
You-
gotta
you'll get
look
it.
for
Well,
it.
yeah, they do go in the junk mail. You probably have to pull
I have
out.
to search for
What
it.
you have to do is on your email, you have to go in, if you have SRT email,
Yeah,
you have to go into that Edge Wave, I think it is, with the spam filter. And you have to go in and you put in elsewhereplayers.com as a friend, and then you'll get them.
Okay, I'll have
Otherwise,
to
you
ask
get
Tim
caught
about
in
that.
spam filter and you'll never see it.
well, but.
Yeah, you
that-
can't even find them in your junk mail. Trust me, I've looked.
Well, if you're looking at the junk mail folder on your email program, that's one thing. This is different.
That's
I
what
can-
I
I can
mean,
show
because it
everybody how
never
to do
even
it.
comes into my
Well, I
junk
know
mail.
where mine comes in,
So,
But anyway, here's the deal, guys, is that mostly you feel free to write something. If,
Or if you know of somebody that's doing something,
yeah, I've just been doing that.
write up articles, send them, and I'll put them together.
And he'll put
publish
them right in and he'll also take like a picture,
Pictures are good.
to go with it. So if you've got something, really, it's open to anybody who wants to put something in, So,
fundraising, I am now handing the reins off to Signy, who's our new fundraiser person.
Okay, so who all this is a lot of people, but I've never seen.
I attended one meeting early on. I don't know how my name got on there.
Take it off.
Yeah,
Because Randall wrote down everybody's name and never
I
changed it.
don't need to be on that one, but
Tiny,
here's the
you can
thing,
appoint as you wish for that committee.
I'm in charge of that elevation fundraiser thing, which is, the juice joint is what it's called. And it's a roaring 20s. It is March 26th. Okay, I put them in, they bought the script. I said we wanted $300, which was $50 more than last year. Plus they had to feed us all. So we need at least 12 actors.
On what date? March?
March 26th, it's right after the run of the last, this show.
I'm down.
It's Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, because my birthday is Sunday.
As long as we have a script in advance.
Well,
Maybe
we usually, it's not a scripted thing. It's like last time.
I'm
we
Guidelines.
No, I'm.
There's
You want
guidelines.
to have a
Yeah,
rehearsal
Yeah,
gathering
oh,
a
yeah.
couple of times before, yeah.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah.
sooner than later,
It's
it's only
tough
a
to
month-
go in
month
completely.
away.
Well, I have all of it,
Okay.
but until I know who's available, I don't know what script to get
Should
people.
we maybe put something out on the actors registry and see if we get some
Um,
people to come and you want to hold an audition and
I don't necessarily want, last time all I did was to see how many of the regular group would be
Well,
willing.
you put my name down.
Okay, and I know Signy is available, Heather and Ken. And Ed,
I don't know yet. I don't know the other one.
okay. And, Lynn?
Waiting to find out what's happening with White Spirit, because so many of the family is involved with that.
Well, right, yeah, this is after, so.
But it's still, you know, you get kind of exhausted.
Well, I know, it took me several days.
Plus, I know we're doing a lot of spearheading on Imagicon, which is in April.
Right. Okay, well, I need a few
I will
more
let
than
you know
that.
if, you know, what the status is for us.
Isha, okay? Penny? No? You don't wanna be.
I work at 6 a.m. I don't do anything during the week.
Okay.
No, I'm not gonna be to work at 6 a.m.
Yeah, clue.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's for summer theater auditions if I am involved in that.
All right, well, we can send out an email and.
Yeah,
put the
send out
word
an
out.
email, see who else, we need a couple more guys for sure. But, and you know, we can get by with others, but, you know, they're fun characters. I can't remember who
I
did
don't
it.
know where it
Do I
might
get to
be.
survive
There
this
should
time?
be a volunteer
Hey,
list.
hopefully not.
someplace.
They killed me last
Supposedly, I
time.
did a whole bunch of things
Oh.
random.
But you
If
could
we
be
need
the ghost then.
These are
Yeah,
great ways
I know.
to go for additional people.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, and I think, you know, this isn't a real long event. It's not, you know, through midnight and that kind of thing.
Is there anything else with fundraising
Huh?
right now? We not. So, all right, let's move along. Season committee.
We have a season that we would like to present to the board to see if they approve or not. We have a little shop, of course, that we'd like to do September 17th through 20th, and then 24th through 27th. With Justin Anderson, like to direct that one. To Alice in Wonderland, doing November 19th through 22nd, and then 27th through the 29th, with Chris Zorba directing. Diary of Anne Frank, January 22nd to 24th, and then 29th through 31st, with Heather as the director. And me and You Can't Take It With You will be the March show, March 19th through 21st, and then 26th through 28th, with Brittany directing that one. And then The Foreigner, May 14th through 16th, and 21st through 23rd, with Jay Jenkins attached to direct that one.
I motion to approve the season.
A second.
Any questions? Any questions?
No, no.
All
I
those
was
in
trying to
favor?
get my second in, but you got it first.
All those opposed? All right. Season.
May I
There was
please
a
have,
suggestion once, because now we have it approved, I can go on.
okay, one thing though, may I, who motioned first?
I motion.
And then who was the second?
Me.
Thank you. I just didn't get that down. 'cause I was right
The
there.
idea came up of, because the rights and royalties and the scripts are a significant amount of dollars. I think the option's open to apply for another HES grant, and
For those.
what we'd like to do is get those dollars, get that budget and approach them with the proposal of sponsoring the entire season, rights and royalties.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be nice, and then their names will be on.
Then they could be the name as a corporate sponsor for everything.
Right.
It'd be a nice-
Just to clarify, we do have to advertise it as a tentative season prior to the
Yes.
approval.
Right.
And as soon as, now that it's approved, I can go out and apply for rights.
Tenant building,
Nothing to add there.
okay, sponsorship,
Or you might need a toilet and maybe you can use that.
bylaws committee.
Hang on.
Lynn's got a little bit more.
Sponsorship, we don't have anything, okay. Bylaws, we met, Nancy, myself, Ashley, and Heather. We've started work. We have come up with a new mission statement that I think is a little bit more appropriate for our needs than what we had. What we had was a little too specific. It was quoting, we're gonna do this much, and we're going to do this, we're gonna do that, and sometimes you can't do those things. We got through about a page and a half, going through our purpose and mission statement and that kind of thing, and began work on the expectations of board members. It's gonna be slow going, but hopefully by the time we finish, we're going to have a more, if not a more concise document, a more practical document. And I think right now that's what we're working
This
towards.
whole process took about 18 months last time we did it.
I don't doubt it. And what we've also found is that there are going to be bylaws and there are going to be policies. And so it will add time.
Right, and the policies ultimately might be able to be transferred into a handbook or a procedures manual, but for the time being, so that we have something in place that can answer our questions, we're going to attach them as an addendum to the bylaws.
And we've got a second meeting scheduled, so if anybody ever has input, let me know as the chair or any of the committee members. We want to consider what you think.
Thank you. The 50th Gala Committee.
We met on Saturday as well. This place was hopping on Saturday.
It was hopping Saturday.
I don't know if you want a copy of this. I just typed up what I wrote down, and
I
Paula,
did get that, Chris. I did get that.
Paula is in the process of trying to get the
I have
depot.
my emails.
Okay, for, anyway, so she hadn't had anybody reply to her yet, so until we see how that goes. Anyway, what we came up with was a New Year's red carpet event. And our first choice of venue was the depot, possibly with the Tubby backup, but we'll see. We're looking at New Year's Eve and or January 1st. Partially because it doesn't seem like, it used to be the big thing to go to the Elks on New Year's Eve. And since then, it really hasn't been a full-fledged party like that. So we thought, well, it could be ours, and not only a celebration, but possibly a fundraiser. And, the fundraiser may be for a specific project, which we, would have to decide on. Because that's kind of what that, what is that? Symphony Rocks thing does?
Community Rock.
That's the one. Anyway, they have a project that they sponsor as well. We will need, a little show. We thought $50 each would be appropriate, for hors d'oeuvres and a show. And then we're hoping for the swing band because we'd like to set it in, like the 40s, 50s, and people could just come dressed as whatever they chose in that regard. Possibility of John Fishpaw maybe would be willing to be the MC. We'll see on that. The things that were thrown out, of course, were Jake Threlkel maybe giving some swing lessons. The hors d'oeuvres being catered by Elevation. Now, they may have a big thing, you never know, but like Paula said, they may have a contract with the depot too, so it's a little bit in limbo yet. But anyway, then we thought, well, then we could have like a performers, like kind of like a Las Vegas show, or like we did in the past, a review, or we could,
I did have a conversation with Jessica Ackerman
Did you?
a while back, and I kind of just broached the idea,
Mhm.
and she was pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
So I think
So she's already even
I
heard
think
about.
she's on board.
Yeah.
I think she'd be on board.
Do
Right.
you have a question, Wendy?
I got several questions. My first concern is the choice of the date. Because, people do go places on New Year's Eve, and a lot of times they already have things planned for New Year's Eve. We're gonna be the new people in town, and I don't know if we would really get a good turnout. I would question it. I'm just throwing this out.
Yeah,
I would
you know,
question
that's
that.
I had a similar concern, but I think January 1st might work because it's also a Friday.
It is a Friday,
I
so,
worried about January 1st because everybody's going out on the 31st.
Spending
They're
their
gonna
money.
go out on the 1st.
Right.
And they might still be hungover on the first.
And my second concern about that is, a lot of bars will have their individual things. Did you plan on having alcohol at it? And is there,
the elevation comes.
well, that would be the question, is if they are going to be busy with their own things. on
Well,
that.
right, so that was
Right.
where we were debating on the 31st, but possibly the first would be.
So that's my
Better,
first
yeah,
question, is
yeah.
that time frame. Regarding that time frame, the original concept of having the gala, wasn't that to introduce our 50th season and promote it? Because
Well-
if you're trying to promote in the middle of the season, you've already lost 3 shows.
Well, here's the thing though, our year really didn't start until 71. So, we figured that even if it's in the middle of the season, it would be a big
And
thing.
we were thinking of advertising the first 2 shows for this big event thing too.
Well, and partially, Lynn, it was, where would we possibly have it? And, because September is, okay, so we got this is this one's homecoming, and this is this one's homecoming, and, they have all of 5 home football games, not, obviously, I don't care about that really,
But
but,
if we were in you can't throw the play in there because you gotta play in January too.
well, right, I
But in the
realize that.
In the beginning of September, there wouldn't be these homecoming things going on.
Well, that's true, but
Again-
it seems like it's a, kind of a lead up to the Huss Fest, that whole month of, it just seems like in starting school, and it just seemed like it wasn't a real great time to have a gala. We could have something different.
And then the third question that I have is, and this is just from the point of view of a costumer, I guess I could say. If you're going to have a really elegant gala, a red carpet gala type of thing, and you tell people it's a 1950s theme, they're gonna show up in poodle skirts and blue jeans and rolled up shirts with.
Well, right,
like extra
we were kind of going more for the 40s.
But even then, how many people know what elegant would be in the 40s?
Well,
And
if
how
you
many
call it
people
red
would have them
carpet.
in their, but the
Well, they
20s
wouldn't.
right now is very big, so you can get things online. But why not just a black tie affair?
Well, we could do that, that works.
It was just
Again-
when I heard about the 50s, my thought was, oh God, everybody's gonna show up in poodle skirts and leather jackets. And that really reeks of gala to me. So,
Well, right,
yeah,
if we wanted to do that, we'd have a sock hop,
right.
which isn't a horrible idea either.
I think the idea of having something dress up, if we're saying gala,
Yeah.
the
And
word
we can still use the swing music and that tie.
Call it
Absolutely.
old Hollywood.
Yeah.
Call it old Hollywood.
Yeah,
We could do that.
Hollywood.
Because then you would have your swing band and you would have all of the red carpet and all of that kind of
Well,
stuff.
say old
Well,
Hollywood, they're gonna
because
think the 30s and
Paula's
40s.
on the, going to ask Jessica for New Year's. But should there be another date that she should check?
What about Labor Day weekend?
But that, see, lake people, they got the fever.
That's like the last
I-
big lake adventure for.
I think nothing ventured, nothing gained. You're
I
never
like
gonna
the-
find a perfect date,
I like
and
the New
people
Year's
like to
weekend.
dress up on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
I see, it
If,
just,
if we did a dress up gala, I could see doing New Year's Eve, because it might bring people out.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
think too.
Yeah, Amaya.
And-
Amaya.
Amaya,
oh, of course, of course.
I mean, he's come to shows. He's
Oh,
interested.
absolutely. He's a very lovely man.
Yes.
We do it just to a dress up, not necessarily a dress up of an era. or a-
Yeah. no.
Okay, so,
Sorry.
well, and again, this was just kind of part of the,
Yeah, we're just
what we
getting
were
started.
talking about,
Right.
you know, and
Very
we
good.
talked that it's not only cheaper
course.
to have hors d'oeuvres.
And of course,
You
the
know?
first thing to find out is if there's anything available,
Right,
because
that's
I'll
what-
tell you, when
absolutely.
we started trying to find availability of sites for the wedding, it was amazing how little there was.
Well, and you start to look, you know, like the June is kind of,
Right, and
Yeah.
so, and New Year's is a time when people
yeah.
have
But,
fun, so
but
who knows,
maybe the
it may be
first,
open.
maybe the first, and then we wouldn't have to be there until 1 o'clock either. We could, I mean, in many ways that, I know that even though if you went out the night before, I bet you'd come anyway.
Depends on how bad my hangover is.
Well, then get
Here's
some
the
of that.
dog.
Plan ahead.
What? Plan ahead.
Yeah, all right, let's move on. We got
Okay, anyway.
to talk about. All right, shocks and new business, shocks and walks, key. Any questions on that? Do we want to move forward? Do we want to talk about it?
What was the price?
Oh, sorry, yes. The actual handle itself, everything boiled down, and labor might be cheaper because he gave me a quote for 2 locks, the office end, but I'm just talking about the labor was 500, just the front door. And with the labor was 3,091. And then there was the $11.80 for the key fobs. Now, we were talking about that, and he suggested that a lot of companies will charge their board, you know, the $12, $10, whatever, and say, that's just a deposit. When you give me your key back, here's your $10 back. That way, we're not having to buy more keys, people are more apt to turn it in, hopefully.
Well, that's probably
So,
not a bad idea.
Then we're not also,
Yeah.
anyway,
I
so
think I'd go.
3,091, that's installed, taught up, you know, free software for life. You know, everybody can have his cell phone number on their phones if there's a problem. They call him and
I move we proceed with this.
My question is, do we need it?
I was gonna say, is this something that's like to be like in lieu of the security system?
No, it would work along with
Work in
the
tandem.
Security system.
So the issue is when people leave the board, we don't get keys back. We don't know how many keys are made, how many keys are borrowed. With a system like this, it guarantees, so if someone was to leave or someone was to borrow it out and it was being abused, instead of having to rekey the locks every time and have new keys made and issued out, they could just be taken out of the system. Everyone else is unaffected. And it's easy to take people out and add them in.
Well, that's, you know, it's not a bad idea.
Answered all my questions.
Who would be the monitor, computer
I think
monitor?
we would need more
I
than
think we
one.
would have several. I mean,
You know,
I could learn it.
I've worked
1,
with
2,
systems.
3, there we go. All 3 people are into the computers, there we go.
I've worked with systems like this before,
There you go.
and time card systems, exact same function.
I don't want to learn.
It's super easy to use. I'm sure it won't be a problem.
Okay, well, and they're a good company, always have them.
Yes.
And they, you know,
Good patrons.
yeah, we might want to ask them if we'd like to sponsor a show.
I know. A little security.
That would be perfect.
Ah, good security, yes.
Yeah, you know, that would be fun.
I got a cell phone number.
Well, I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion on it? All those in favor of going ahead with the
Aye.
box system?
Any abstentions? Thank you.
Any nays? No? Any abstains? No? Okay, motion passed. All right, moving on. We're gonna talk about the contract. Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Yes, you do your thing.
Because I'm gonna have
Do your
to
thing.
leave here. I got the quote for the electrical work to be able to support the lights. Basically, what we came up with, we need 2 circuits, minimum of 2 circuits of 20 amps apiece. What we can do is we can take, there's the 2 clusters on either side. The wiring's all there, the conduit's there, the wires there, the outlets are there. All you need to do is put a sub panel down here and underneath, and we'd have, I think, 8. That'd give us 8 circuits, which is 4 times what we need up right away. We'd be covered forever. He quoted $1,812.36. But I do know that Todd
I'm
has a
assuming that was
tendency to
$1,800.
$1,812.36. Todd has a tendency to highball quotes. He told me, he said, I'm gonna quote 2 days' work. It's probably a half a day.
Well,
So
just in case.
And that's, I think, would still keep us under what we discussed
it's gonna
1,500.
it's gonna be right in that ballpark.
Okay,
of what we quote.
see an issue with it.
In doing that, does that eliminate any chance of going back and using the old system if it was
The old
desired?
system will have to pull some load down, but there's some channels that aren't used and there's some that aren't working anyway. So we're not going to lose. We'll go
You
down.
lose the option.
We're
That's
not
what
gonna
it's-
lose the option.
Okay. Well, if we're gonna be able to use these new lights that we just bought, we're gonna have to do this.
Yeah, we are.
So,
Sounds
Not
good.
really.
Motion for,
I mean, if it's underneath what we already approved, I
I
don't
guess.
think we need to
We
vote on
don't
it.
even.
No.
well, we should have a vote on it anyway.
You said there was 1,600 left from what
There's
had been
about
approved.
1,400 left, so it would be about $200 or $300 over our original budget.
We're $200 over the original
We would
budget
be
already.
with
With that,
The electrician pay.
Not in addition.
because I think the pipes cost a little more than what we were thinking.
Um,
The hangers. and
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah.
the
But
hangers
then
were
the
a little
lights
more,
were
the pipes
cheaper,
were less.
so. Okay, is there a motion to,
All motions.
What is the motion for?
To approve the extra $200 to $300
For the,
for the electrical work.
electrical work.
so instead of it being 15.4, it'll probably be 15.6 or 7.
And that's the full, like with the eyeball this yet, though, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it
It's
might
probably
not.
gonna come in.
It'll probably come in under.
It probably,
He pretty routinely gives a quote.
We went,
The bill is less.
we went over the grant.
Yep.
We approved X over the grant.
right, already, yeah.
2,900.
So are we still within that?
We're gonna be real close on the 20, with the extra 29.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Abstained? Motion carried. Okay. Jim Heilman is gonna be here on March 1st from 2 to 5, 1:45 to 5. We need a liaison. Would anybody be able to be here during that time?
What is it?
March 1st is a Sunday.
Sunday.
No.
No, I'm at a concert.
Um,
For Chamber Cross.
Okay.
It's like, March 1st is. What is it? I'll just.
All right, now, the next thing
Heather, you're
was,
going to?
yeah, I'll just do it. The thank you notes.
May I make a point on this? From here on out, probably what we need to do is make sure that when somebody wants to rent the hall, that we already know that there will be a representative willing to be there, because it's not fair for it to default down to
I knew
Heather
it was
or
gonna-
anybody else.
It's
No, but
I
it's
had
just
had
not
in mind that I
fair
would do
all
it,
the
but-
time for it defaulting to one or two people. So if you are bringing it to the table, please make sure that you are actually going to be the person who's the representative.
I didn't know if we needed to vote on this, but it would be nice to have more professional, dang it, I left it in the car, but more professional thank you notes for, when we get sponsors, when we get, that have we used to have them, we have a few left, they have the wrong address on them. So I went and got 2 quotes, Office Max and you were saying Nice, nice, okay. If we did 200 note cards plus envelopes, it would be $96 and some change with Nice, $96 for 200.
106, 90 plus
Sorry,
16.
106, I'm adding wrong, sorry about that. And with Office Max, it was a lot more. It was 72 and change just for the envelopes, plus 105 for the cards. So
Thanks, no brainer.
Well,
I
it's, yeah,
I would
it's a
say
no-brainer.
nice,
Yeah,
and
go
I
with
didn't know
nice.
if it was a needed vote.
Well,
It's
I think
office
that, yeah,
supplies, okay.
just, you're saying thank you notes, but they don't say
Sure.
thank you
They
on
don't
them,
say
right?
thank you,
Okay.
sorry. These
Yeah,
are
and
more
they
just have our
cards,
logo
but-
and-
because it could just,
Right.
It
you
could
can
be
use them
for
whatever.
anything.
usually they are.
Yeah.
the thank yous, but just to clarify.
Personalized
Right, just
note
note cards.
Yeah.
There's no card so that we can
More
use them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I motion that we use these impressions and get some professional looking note cards.
And do you want to go with the 200? I got a quote for 100 as well, but it's barely cheap.
Go with the
Go with the
200.
2.
Okay.
Because we don't plan on moving.
No,
Okay, all those in favor?
I,
Opposed?
Who was,
Holly motion.
Holly and I second.
Okay, next.
Too many
We'll talk
people
about
talking.
Your wine.
Oh, yeah. Just really quickly, because I think maybe
Nothing to
maybe,
bring to a vote yet.
how much, Tim said it was okay to do beer and wine if we were okay with that for his show. But we want to have a contract with places, not just
Yeah.
here we say, but what is a good offer to go into a place to say, you give us this much of your $6 or whatever? Are we thinking $2? Are we thinking $1?
well, the one that would know would be Kenna.
She asked us, though. She is all in favor of doing it, but she wanted to know what we
Well, what have we done before?
With Arnie's, they gave us $2 of every sale.
they gave us to.
Supposedly, yeah.
But there was a codicil on that. I remember from the first time we did it, because I asked why we didn't earn more. And it was because they said that we had to pay for the bartender first. And then anything above that
Okay.
came to us.
Okay.
So it was like, yeah, we might have made $100 from the $2 a drink, but then it was $75 for the bartender, so we wound up getting 25. So that's just something we need to
Yeah,
clarify.
we need to find out if we're paying for that too. Okay, that makes sense.
Well,
So we
then
kind of just wanted
$2.
to, as the board, see, and then we'll write up a contract maybe in the finance committee or something and bring it to the board. next
Is there
week
one
and
that
see.
wants to do it
No,
actually?
Kenna said that the Starving Rooster would be happy to do things like that.
When she
yes.
typed this out, we were just discussing that we should reach out to a couple places and get kind of put some feelers out and see.
Here's the other
Because we don't have to
thing.
have the same place here every time.
Right, we don't. And here's the other thing is that, if while we're asking, are there any, who would be interested in giving out coupons, for, like a drink after the show, that
They want to do any promotions, yeah.
promotions, we'd be happy to pass them out. I mean, and that wouldn't cost them really anything, but
Yeah, so we'll talk about it at the finance meeting maybe and write something up and
Maybe
then bring
even
it
before
back.
then.
One note is that I had quite a few people at the box office asking about it
Really?
on the last show, yeah.
What was
We
kind
had,
of
we had just
show-
a couple out here. We didn't have very much.
Yeah, there was quite a few in the box office asked.
Well, it works well to have it in the front room, I would
Right,
say.
it
Yeah.
does.
Really
Everything
great.
up there works great.
Lynn
Way to
has
do
a
it.
few things to talk about. Let's go with her next.
Okay, hopefully these are quick. I had a request from Julie Benson for the MSU Gala, if we could get a couple of Flex Pass donations for them. And
done
I
in the
said,
past
we've done it in
before.
the past, I think we're
Yes.
fine, I just needed to bring it to the board first. Any objections?
Just
Okay.
email me the information and I'll get you the codes.
Yep. We received a very nice thank you note from the people who ran the celebration for Ellie, which we donated to, we wanted to send a big thank you for your generous contribution towards our fundraiser, a celebration for Ellie on December 4th at the Talby Museum of Art. One set of passes were included in the silent auction and the second set in the raffle. We also hosted another event in our hometown. Through both events, we raised a grand total of $12,596.69. 100% of this amount has been donated to the Minot Area Homeless Coalition, the Hopeful Heart Project, and the Surrey Valley United Way Dolly Parton Imagination Library.
Wonderful.
At this time, we're hoping to organize an annual event. We'll be happy to collaborate again in the future. And I've got the information on that. Sending our best wishes. Keep in touch. Priyanka Sharma, Evan Agarwal, and Angel Bailey Ellen.
That's very sweet.
So,
I did attend that.
Did you?
Yeah, David and I went.
Summer Theater, got this in the mail a little while ago. It's the Summer Theater newsletter. And when I got this, I found myself going, well, gee, we really ought to have something like this. It's a lot of money to do something like this. And we try to do it with our trifold brochure, which we do. We've already got that established, but these got mailed to everybody. So I'm wondering to myself, if we are really going to consider, I won't say competing, but encouraging theater in this area, if we shouldn't, at the end of our season, beginning of our season, sometime along the way, actually mailing the brochures out to at least the people we have on file. Because, yeah, it's an outlay of money, but who knows? We might, A, get more people, B, spark additional interest, somebody could hand it out. 3, we might get people contributing and sponsoring by doing it that way.
Yeah.
So
And we could advertise for gala in that if we do it right. You know,
there's all
season.
kinds of things that we could do, and we could even perhaps do a second mailing mid-season with anticipation of what we have coming up once we've finalized, not finalized, but our tentative season. So kind of get kick-started for the following year. I know Brittany and I, between us and Courtney, we already have a lot of the stuff kind of in template, so to speak. So it wouldn't be impossible to put it together.
Would you be able to find out how much, even just like that, take it somewhere and say, how much did you pay for one of, how much is
Take it
I
to
was
nice.
just-
type of thing? Oh,
Well,
okay.
I was just looking to see if this was, they would have had to have had an envelope.
It was in an envelope, yes.
So I'm thinking that at nice, Heather,
Yeah.
you could just as well get a box of number 9 envelopes and a box of number 10 envelopes, because
Just envelopes, and then we could just tuck our brochures in. And I can get the information on the
the
brochures.
box of number 9 is the size that
Most-
goes inside
It's not a
the
bad
10.
idea to do
Mostly it was an
beginning
idea that I thought, they've mailed it, they've won the cost of mailing it, it perked my interest, therefore
You might
maybe I
actually
should.
hang on to it.
There's a reason why they did that now.
Yeah,
They're
because they're
doing their
looking
big
for money.
renovation.
But it doesn't matter why they did it, if it's something that might get us.
That might work for us too.
When I was at college, we always sent out postcards for each show with
Yeah.
bulk mailings as
Yeah.
well.
Mhm.
To everyone that was on.
Yeah,
the
well, we
main-
don't
same
have
mailing
enough
list.
people to do a bulk
So-
mailing, unfortunately,
Yeah.
but, I mean, one year we sent out the little postcards to everybody.
other-
Well, and I like that because I keep the postcards, so I remember what the dates are.
Money-wise, this is an expensive brochure.
Oh, that one is, yeah,
Minot State has their own printing service.
right.
Yeah.
But I can get, for the next next meeting, I can throw together what our trifold brochure costs, an approximate cost, if I can find out how many actual addresses we have. I can get an approximate cost of what it would be to send that out. I can even put together potentially something on doing postcard wise. But I think we really should start, this is now the time to start thinking about next year. And
We do need to clean up our mail list, our
Yes.
address list,
Yes.
because we did get quite a few
Yes.
back.
Absolutely.
So we need, and people who purchase tickets online, they never put a mailing address.
I
in.
know, but still, if all we reach out are the people who actually we have addresses for, at
That's
least we're
something.
reaching out to them.
And we can always use extra brochures, sending it with sponsor letters or something if we do some
Right,
sponsor
well,
letters.
and people pick up the brochures from around here too, so it's not
I
like.
do like that trifold.
Put them in Visit Minot.
I do.
Yeah.
Distribute them
And
there.
maybe that's something, if we do something like that, and we get it out in time, maybe something that's.
Do you have one more thing?
Wouldn't mind having.
Yeah.
At towards the end of their season.
Three more,
So
actually.
we're not competing season.
No, I mean.
We complement each other.
Okay, a chance meeting of the gentleman who organized the Historic Society Gatsby Gala a couple years ago.
Yeah.
He said that they are going to have another Gatsby Gala for the Historic Society on May 2nd. He anticipated the price of the tickets was going to be $30. One of the things that impressed their board of directors was the number of people from MRP that they recognized that had shown up in costume and were out there dancing the Charleston and the two-step and things like that, and wondered, he hasn't done anything formally yet, but wondered if there might be some interest of having MRP people show up again in costume and possibly doing some mock performances of dancing to encourage other people to get up and dance. That's as far as it went. I have no further information.
Is that Dave Lenny?
You were one of
Yeah.
them. You were one of them.
I was out there, I'm not a great dancer.
That doesn't mean you can't do it. We could possibly learn a couple, two steps or something like that. It's there out in the ether. As soon as I get some information from him, I will pass that on.
Big throat now.
I got this from Sleep In today. My name is Amy. I work with Dennis at the Sleep In Minot. We wanted to see if Mouse River players would be interested in advertising in the in-room directories this year. We're looking to feature more things to do in the in-room directories. Media USA has partnered with the Sleep In to provide with in-room directories that have all information in all 176 rooms. I've attached a pricing and spec sheet for the program. This is a 12-month program, and the rates are $195 for a half page and $295 for a full page ad for the entire year. You can submit your own ads camera ready, or they do have a service to be able to do it with an additional charge. So basically, they just wanted to know if we might be interested. We have turned down homesteaders in the past because of the price. Seemed, exorbitant. But this one, I don't know. Part of me says yes, part of me says no. It's an outreach, it's an opportunity, but on the other hand, we don't have a 12-year season.
Visit Minot takes their visitor's guide to all of the motels in town. So the motels have at the ready for anybody who stays what's happening in Minot. And
So that would be redundant.
In the lobby. This would be-
Yes.
These have been
This would be
each
the
individual
in-room
room.
My biggest concern was the fact that we don't have a 12-month thing. We did try advertising in the lobbies of motels one year. I can't say as it really bumped anything, but that was also a bad year. So.
Yeah.
And the final one from Justin. Had a meeting this morning with Brent Braniff at KXNC and the KX station manager. The North Dakota CW is under the wing of KX News, and as some of you have already heard, they're planning to launch an outreach campaign called NDCW Hearts the Arts. This will be an interesting and potentially tremendous opportunity for us to bring attention and awareness to the arts community in our region. This campaign will launch in the beginning of March, and if you haven't already, you can likely expect to be contacted by either Brent or myself, Justin, about how to get involved. I have not heard from either of them. I don't think you've heard from either of them yet. This will include the entire CW region, essentially all of western North Dakota, but I'll be working on getting the Minot area as much attention as possible. I know nothing more about it other than this from Justin. I stay in touch with him on a regular basis. But it may be one of those things where we have to do something quickly. It could be presentation, it could be, I haven't got a clue.
Information.
But definitely, I think this is a point where, yeah, whatever it is, we want to be ready.
I think it's probably a place we could do some video promotions.
Video promotion, whatever, but as soon as I hear something, I wanted the board to be aware of it so that I could send out an email or something and say, hey, we need to get on this now, because this is television advertising. And people watch television.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, we-
Yeah, or like they're doing that, I call mine at home because it's getting a lot of press.
Okay, so the next thing is, do you want to talk about it? Do you want me to talk about it?
I'll talk about it. So we did run into a bit of an issue. There, I'm not here to call out names, blame anybody, whatever it was. We had students from Central Campus showed up to borrow props, costumes, stuff like that. Great. I'm glad that we're helping out other community theaters, whether it's high school or college, whatever it is. We did run into an issue where they were pulling props and costumes, and we already had costumes pulled, and they wanted to use the costumes we had, and no one knew what was going on. The director didn't know, so we want to make sure that if someone's being let in to borrow props or costumes, who they're with, who's in charge, who's co-signing from the board to let them in and borrow stuff, and to make sure that all that stuff is run by the director, so that we're not missing out on props and costumes for our own shows.
Well, and I let them in.
Yep, and that's fine. I didn't want to say that
You know,
were the
that's
wrong or
fine.
anything.
And you did great at writing everything down.
Yeah,
Right.
and
The one problem that I encountered when I was helping on Saturday was it was me, and there was about 7 people going into 7 different places and pulling and dragging and disturbing and moving and shifting, and I couldn't be everywhere at once. And so I know that later on, you know, one girl said, I need to look at skirts. I showed her where the skirts were. I happened to walk in and she's trying on dresses. And it's like, okay, but you gotta let me know, please, you know, and
they were already looking at costumes that we had
that we'd
already pulled for this
already
show.
pulled. They were
And I
playing
just
with
asked them,
those.
hey, whatever you guys want to use, make sure, let's get it upstairs, and we need the director to go through and make sure there's nothing that we need for this show.
Yeah, we just need that to be a little more focused on who, contact information.
Yes, you know, the
And
first
that kind of
time when I went down with them the first time around, you know, there wasn't quite as many.
Yeah.
But I walked over and then they said, well, this is what we need. And so then I helped them pull it.
But then I was down there the next day, and there were boxes that were still open and laying around. There were things that got left on the floor that did not get put away, that they didn't take. So they were in there even when you were not.
Yeah.
And they were, and when I was here, when I came in to check on them for that rehearsal, they were going through props and costumes, and you know, it's like,
Yeah,
hey,
it
this
can't
stuff has
just
to get.
be a blanket.
has to get
You can't
improved.
just do this.
And
Yeah.
I want to make sure that if we have a show going on, that the director knows about it and gets to see everything, and make sure that to say, hey, we've already got plans for this show. I'm sorry, but you'll have to find something else.
Something else. No,
When you
makes
say
sense.
director, I assume you mean production staff, like costumer.
Yeah, costumer, well, the director too, because the director has their own insights. And
Yeah,
That's a
some-
kind of
somebody,
inclusive term. for
Yeah.
staff.
yeah, somebody who can inform the correct people.
So with costumes, have we heard anything about the stuff from Lily?
It's
Yeah,
back.
Heather got them back.
Okay, cool.
Heather got them back.
It's all washed in back.
Where'd they go?
They're gonna be hung up probably within the next week.
They're just downstairs in a big box.
Oh,
Leanne
all
Hubel
of our
had them at her
costumes are
house.
in
She had cleaned them, but she just hadn't got them.
oh, I see, Leah, oh, got it, okay, I was going, well, where did they go?
Yeah.
Sam,
Okay, and then this was just an idea I had the other day when I was quietly singing to myself, and there was this huge reverberation, and it brought to mind the times that we've had a show going, someone came in late, and they're kind of loud, and that sound is echoing, and you can hear it in the seating. And I don't think it'd be a bad idea, and I'm just throwing the idea out. I'm not saying this is what we should spend or whatever, but putting some sort of sound absorption into the entryway, into the lobby, whatever you want to call it, just so that when people do come in, we don't have as much sound reverberating around the walls and disrupting anything else that might be going on, because it can be something that's super cheap. So that's something as easy as frames with cloth wrap around them. Just something to help
So
absorb
it has to
sound.
be something that looks good.
Yeah, obviously aesthetic would be a big part of it. It doesn't have to be super pricey, but I think
And the next question is, are you willing to speak?
I was gonna start looking at, and bring some options around, either whether it's cloth for people to look at, whatever it is. So I'd be willing to kind of take the hit on that.
Research, do the
Yeah.
research.
But if anybody has any ideas, I'm open.
I didn't stop, I was scratching myself, not answers.
Well,
On the same note, can we do something like get the doors to be less squeaky, so when they open the doors during the show? Clean those hinges a little bit.
Yeah.
One time. That, or like something also like maybe to like, when the door closes, it doesn't like something to push in
And
the door.
it's something as easy as a felt strip.
Yeah,
you
put
in there.
some little strip up there too, just to kind of keep it from,
well, you kind of wonder,
just something.
Good idea.
if,
It's simple enough.
Yeah, it's just simple things that we can do to fix it.
the research will and see.
Yeah, so you're gonna work on that?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Last thing, unless somebody else has anything, we got this email a little bit ago. This lady, I think, is doing a event. It's like a New York event. I actually have seen it on Facebook now, but she is bringing the experience of New York in all fashions to Minot, and is having a party kind of type of thing. And she's asked if as many people from MRP would want to, could join and be a part of it. And what they would do is they dress up in these different, some of the options were Little Italy, where am I drawing a blank? Madison Avenue,
Chanel and dolls,
et cetera. All the different types of New York that she's gonna have there. Like they would dress up, they would
She has
interact,
the
they would
costume.
talk. I'm not sure. I didn't get that far.
Where is this happening?
I think it's at the auditorium. I could be wrong, but I think so.
Do we have any kind of a date?
Yes, and that's the next thing. September 19th, which I think that's one of the shows. True?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the problem. Yes. So, yes, it would be a great idea because she said we would set up a booth for you guys, a free booth. You would have, we would advertise that you were participating. We would set up a booth that somebody could be there and, hand out or talk to people. But it's one of the nights of the play, so.
And that's a big show
Yes.
with a lot of people.
We're in the.
I'm thinking we're probably gonna have to do it split.
Yeah,
Second.
because we also don't want to
Saturday
split up
night
our
of-
resources.
Yeah.
when we're doing the show.
So,
It sounds like a cool
Right,
idea.
and it would be nice
love
of her
to
to
do
offer
it,
it
but
It
too.
really
Just-
does. I mean, if there's a limit, if there's only two people needed at a table or
Right.
something, I mean,
Yeah, two,
we could pull two
depends.
people. If she isn't looking for a bundle
Well,
I
I
think
said, how
she's
many
looking
people?
at-
And she said, as many as you could get.
or as few.
I suppose.
Yeah, so in other words, they kind of want us for color.
Because they want
I
us
would
to
understand
talk,
that,
they want
too.
us to walk around and they, if you're from Little Italy, she wants you to talk like that. If you're from Madison Avenue, she wants you to talk like
Yeah, a
that.
little more
And
involved.
interact,
than that.
and, with the people and stuff. So unfortunately, I think we'll probably have to pass.
Well, it just,
Well, explain to her, perhaps in the future,
Yeah,
but this
definitely.
conflicts with our show.
Okay,
You know, if it was in October, it's a different story.
okay, go ahead.
I know it's a table agenda item, because it's something that has been on and off and trying to get the right times. We did talk about it at the last show, and presented that, you know, this is something that we are interested in looking for. And we did have quite a few young people who were interested, whether they were in the show or just happened to be children of people in the theater. So I would like to get some clarification on what we're looking for. So be on the lookout for an email. I'm gonna ask them what kind of requirements that we're gonna ask of these junior board members, like how old, how involved they're gonna be.
And I believe MACA's doing something with the youth on their
Yes, they have a
board
youth,
as well.
youth activities council.
So it would be something, maybe it could be in conjunction with that, not in conflict with that. But
You said
I don't
Newcomb was
know.
doing it?
yeah, so maybe check with them and see where they are with it. So we're not trying to, again, get the same group of kids pulling them in two different directions.
It would be Justin.
But there's a little bit of headway has been made, so we're just want to make sure that we have some clarification. So
I
just be on the
think-
lookout.
Yeah, to check with Justin too.
The last thing, thank you, Ken, for reminding me. I knew I forgot something. We should have done that at the beginning, but Katie Allers, everybody got her application in email like a month ago now. So we need to talk about it, vote.
I'll move that we accept Katie Allers as our new board
I
member.
will second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
And you will notify
I
him.
will notify her.
All
Thank you.
things considered, I better vote yes.
All things considered. Are you related?
Well,
show they are.
next month, yes.
Oh, you could, is she up there?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't know if she's here right now.
Oh, yeah, just find your wife.
anyway,
Yeah, I'm
is there
glad I
anything
got
else?
this.
Any other
It's just
business?
incest.
Glad you thought of that.
One of several.
One of several
That's right.
wives.
I've had-
Yeah.
I've had many.
So our next meeting is Monday, March 9th. And with no further discussion, meeting adjourned.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry,
I
so sorry. It
will-
was
Julie,
That's okay.
we need to let John know that he's still on the board unless.
Yes, we have 14 people on our, now 15. John is one of them.